Well, hello everyone. Time for another little project. Now, I take no claim for designing this. As being a card-carrying member of YouTube, I stumbled onto making this tool. What I'm making is a smoke generating device. I'm going to plug it into my motor. I'm going to plug it into the intake manifold area, and this will push smoke through the motor, and I'll see if it comes out in places that it shouldn't come out. Well, I've got the Cobra running real well and makes lots and lots of power. That's not the problem. I'm still having trouble with the spark plugs showing rich, very rich, but the O2 meter on the dyno at wide open throttle, everything looks good. In fact, it's a touch lean. So I've done some research and sent some emails to Edelbrock, and one of the technicians came up with maybe I don't have the intake manifold sealed real well into the valve lifter area, and it's sucking up oil. So what this is a toilet flange, a clean out flange, the cap, got some hose, we got some tiki torch wicks, I got a fuse, a couple of stainless steel nuts and bolts. I've got a piece of my stainless steel MIG wire that I'm going to use as the coil to generate the heat, ohm meter to see how long the wire needs to be, and some clamps and that, and plugs and connectors. So let's throw this together and we'll see how it does. This part's pretty normal. Just PVC glue and cleaner. Being a little careful with the cleaner because it's purple and I didn't want it to run all over everything. A little side story. I always try when I go to Lowe's or Home Depot, especially for a plumbing project, to see if I can get the project without having to buy everything. So I got the pieces I needed, and I looked at the glue aisle and I thought a little bit, and I says, I know I've got glue. Every time I make one of these projects, I buy glue. So I came home with all the pieces, and then when I started the glue project, I went back to Lowe's and got more glue. But the next one I'll be ready. Here I'm just drilling the holes for the electrical leads. Just taking some stainless steel 1/4-inch bolts that I had in my inventory and bending the tiki lamp wick to fit in. I want it above the base, about in the middle of the tube there, so that the ends stick down into the baby oil and wick it up. As you can see, I've speeded things up so this doesn't drone on and on and on. But here I'm using the ohm meter to measure the resistance of the length of wire that I'm going to need. I'm looking between 2 and 2.5 ohms, and got her snipped off. Let's start figuring out how to attach it to the bolts. Taking the wire and wrapping it around the wick to keep them nice and tidy and not overlapping. Get them spaced out a little bit. The welding wire turned out to be pretty springy. Later when I tested it, when it heated up, it took a lot of the springiness out of it, and I was able to fit them a little tighter, but I was able to get them wrapped around, and using the pliers, I kind of squish the loops down to where it's nice. fitting the other bolt, or the wire around the other bolt. Get it all tightened up, stick it in here, and I had to fiddle around with it a little bit, getting the bolts and the wires and the coils and the wick all positioned the way I wanted. And now I'm fitting a couple of O-rings over the bolts, so when I tighten the nuts back up on them, it'll hopefully seal and not leak too bad. Time now for the electrical side of it. I had some leftover heavy gauge wire from all my building projects on the Cobra, so I put some 1/4 inch ends on the end and go ahead and solder them up. And I've also got some big battery clips to put for the other end of it, and I've even put a fuse in it. Must be getting soft in my old age. For the air inlet and outlet, I've just got a couple of old air coupler fittings. The one on the left is the one I use for my air lines, and the one on the right there is probably 40 years old that I brought down with me, and nothing around here uses them, and I always grab them by accident and try to fit them, and this will get rid of one of them, so that's good. Simple matter here, just using a step drill, drill the hole into the plastic. The fittings are pipe fittings, so they'll thread themselves when they go in. And kind of changed my mind as I go along here. I screw it in, the hole didn't seem big enough, so it took me a few attempts to pick a drill that I liked. Everything's assembled. Got me some baby oil, dripping it over the wick. Pour me, I don't know, 1/4 inch or so in the bottom so the wick can stay wet. And we'll see how it does. Let there be smoke. All I need now is for a genie to pop out of this. Grant me a few wishes. And I'm intently watching the coils inside. Some of them got a little red. As I reformed them later, they calmed down a little bit, but I wanted to watch it, make sure that it didn't burst into flame. I figured that would be an undesirable effect. So let's see how it does. I've stuffed a rag down the carburetor and tape it up some. I'm sure it's going to have some leaks, but we'll see how it does. Taped her up as good as we could. get it ready for the test. And I'm taking the cap out of the valve cover. Give it a good exit for any smoke that may find its way in. Got the one off the other side also. There we got the unit. Getting ready to hook it up and make smoke. I've got the air set on the air going in. Maybe 1, maybe 2 pounds, hardly air at all. The plastic tube is a fairly loose fit onto that air fitting, so if for some reason that the inside builds up pressure, it'd blow that hose off and not cause any catastrophic problems. So we'll see how it does. And it does pretty good. Got smoke coming everywhere. Look around checking. Obviously we have a lot coming out of the top of the carburetor. But got a lot coming out of the bottom of the carburetor. This thing had a lot of smoke blowing past the throttle shafts. See here, I blow the smoke away and watch it come out, and it come out both sides, all 4 locations. But as you can see here, there's nothing coming out of the valve covers, so there's no internal leaks. We'll move on from there. Well, the project came out reasonably well. The smoke generator generated smoke, and it did not come out of the valve covers. So that is good. In that respect, although I almost half wish that maybe that it had, and then I would know what the problem was, because now I still have to try to find out why I keep having dark spark plugs. But it did well. I have no idea about the amount of smoke coming around the throttle shafts in the carburetor. The carburetor is not that old, probably only got 5,000, 6,000 miles on it. And having never put smoke in another one, I don't know if that's normal or abnormal. But either way, it's not causing it to run rich. If anything, it would have it running lean. And that part is what it is. But it's been a fun project, and it went well. Got it all done in pretty much one day. I bought all the parts yesterday. And we'll see you again with the next project. Thanks for watching.